Hey guys, welcome back to Ampharosity. Today we're going to bring you another booster box opening video. This one will be exclusively on the Furious Fist set. This is a brand new set, just came out. Basically this set focuses all around fighting Pokemon. As you can see, he's got Mega Lucario, Mega Lucario, Landorus, lots of great fighting Pokemon and support cards for fighting Pokemon. So that brought a really big draw to this set. So it's a really great synergy all around, and it's very popular. Along with the fighting support, we've got Seismitoad EX. There's lots of great things with him. People have been really hyping that card up. So there's definitely lots of great cards to pull from this set, and it makes it really worth buying a booster box. So honestly, for the past few sets that have come out, I really recommend buying this set out of any of them, just because how better chance you have of pulling really great cards that can see a lot of big prices in the future. So we're just going to head on in, hope to get some really great pulls today, and see what happens. Alright, we got that cool Tyrantrum right there, looking pretty fierce. Alright, so we'll start off with the right side today. Alright, and first card is a Drowsy. Then we got Scraggy, Bellsprout, Mienshao, or Mienfoo, is that Mienfoo, Plusle, Weeping Bell, Full Heal, another big reprint card. It's not too useful in this format, but I mean it is big that they reprinted an old card, so that's back in the format for another season. Strong Energy, great card, what I'm looking for. Basically just adds 20 damage for any fighting Pokemon that attacks with it attached to it. Only drawback is it can only be attached to a fighting Pokemon, but still, great card from the set. We got Sail Fossil and Gothitelle. Not as strong as Gothitelles from the past, but it could be useful if stadiums see a super increase of play, which they may with the new fighting stadium. However, at the moment, adding a stage 2 just to recycle stadiums isn't too great. Alright, so we'll move on to a Mega Heracross pack, looking really cool there. Alright, and we have a Lickitung, Noibat, Plusle, Trapinch, Slackoth, Focus Sash, Amora, Super Scoop Up, another reprint. Again, wasn't too big, really influential, but it is back in the format, just so players know if they ever choose to play a deck that could be useful for this card. It is there as an option. And a Slacking. Alright, oh, and then a Leafeon. Whoops, must have did that wrong. Alright, then we have Hawlucha. Pretty cool looking like blister opening. Alright. And we have a Slackoth, Patrat, Electabuzz, Clefairy, Makuhita, a Korrina, probably the best supporter from the set, basically allows you to search for a fighting Pokemon and an item card. So very strong. There's a big card, Machamp, in the set, and with this card it honestly makes getting that out really simple. You basically play the card, get either the Machop you need or maybe a Machamp, and then get the rare candy if you play that in your deck, and you can basically get Machamp's turn 2 pretty easily if you play this card. So definitely a great card to look out for. Poliwhirl, Machoke, Torchic, and a Mega Heracross. Alright, doesn't look like it is the secret rare. However, still Mega Heracross is a pretty cool card. Basically the way it works is Big Bang Horn. It does 180 damage minus. So every damage counter on Mega Heracross will subtract from his attack total. But it's still a really big amount. If you put Muscle Band on it, it's doing 200 damage. So if you try to play with Max Potion and some like maybe a fairy like Aromatisse, you can kind of move energy around in order to just always attack with him with that full power, and then you're pretty much one-hit KOing any Pokemon in the format at the moment, unless you're going up against another Mega or a Pokemon that has somehow increased HP through other means. So it's a really cool card, looks really nice. Not sure how much play it'll see, but still definitely something to look for in these packs, because it can be a secret rare, so that could make it extremely more valuable. Alright, so we'll put that to the side and keep on going. We got Tyrantrum for the pack art. Alright, we have a Drowsy, Clefairy, Pikachu, Gothita, Electabuzz, Fossil Researcher, another supporter from the set. Kind of makes fossils a little bit more playable. Basically allows you to get an Emora or a Tyrant from your deck and just put them into your put them on your bench. So pretty powerful for fossils anyway. Then we have Weeping Bell, Mountain Ring, which basically prevents all bench damage. So it's kind of like Mr. Mime as a stadium. Could be cool with Landorus being such a big threat. If you want to stop that damage, play the stadium down. Not only does it counter the fighting stadiums, which help Landorus, but also stops his other effect of the attack. So it can kind of nerf him pretty well. And another Gothitelle. Oh, and Breloom. Pretty cool. This guy was actually really useful for me in a pre-release, which I went to. It helps out a lot. Basically, you can heal and get all that use from the fighting support. Alright, then we have the next one with Mega Lucario on it. Looking pretty cool. Alright, and we have a Machop, Torchic, Lickitung, Eevee, a really cool card. Honestly, probably one of my favorites from the set. Basically, its ability makes it extremely cool. If you play an energy onto it, if you have an evolution with that same type as the energy, you can basically search that from your deck and evolve it right away. So it's kind of like its own search mechanic, and it can be used turn 1. So while you can't attack for your first turn if you're going first, it's still not super useful that way, but just getting the evolution out right away, keeping it, removing the fighting weakness it has, will definitely be very influential if people choose to play it. Then we have Noibat, Super Scoop Up, Fossil Researcher, Hitmonlee, Battle Reporter, another supporter from the set. Not too strong though. Basically allows you to draw up to the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent. But it's just not too usable in this format where we use our card, basically our hand whittles down pretty fast. So I'm not sure how play it'll be, but pretty cool card. If we ever find a full art in this box, the full art does look really cool though, so we'll give it that. And then a Hariyama. Alright, then we have another Mega Lucario. Alright, we have Clauncher, another Eevee, Scorpy, Drowsy, Bellsprout, Energy Switch, another card that was reprinted, so it will stay with us in this format, which is great. Scrafty, Sail Fossil, Jinx, and another Jinx. Alright, Jinx is kind of an interesting card. We'll talk about it really quick. Basically, for everyone you have on your bench, once during your turn, you can heal 10 damage from your active Pokemon. So I suppose if you wanted to play with, say, Mega Heracross, that could be pretty cool. You can constantly heal damage from Mega Heracross with Jinx to boost his attack up. So it could be an interesting combo, but not sure exactly how powerful it'll be. Alright, then we'll move on to the next pack. It's another Mega Heracross. Alright, we have Magmar, Clauncher, Mienfoo, Bellsprout, Golett, Machoke, Licky, Full Heal, Watchog, and a Mega Lucario EX. This one I actually believe is the secret rare, so that's awesome. I already have 2 of the regular Mega Lucario, so I'm definitely looking for the secret rare. I'm almost positive by the gold and golder top border there that this is in fact a secret rare. So that's awesome. I've been looking, hoping to get a secret rare out of the set because I haven't gotten so far any secret rare megas. So this is really cool, really nice, and it'll go well with the other 2. So awesome. Alright, next pack we have a Pikachu, Magmar, Gothita, Makuhita, Machop, Lickilicky, Combuskin, Battle Reporter, Full Heal, and an Amora. Basically one of the focused fossils of the set. It's kind of an interesting ability. Ice Shield. Basically any damage done to an opponent by an opponent's attack to each of your water Pokemon, if it has a water energy attached to it, it's reduced by 20. So interesting idea. Maybe if you splashed it into Blastoise, I don't know how easy that would be, but could help maybe save your Keldios from damage. But again, not sure how playable that will be or how best to use it, but it's an interesting mechanic that is there for anyone that wants to try to pick up maybe like a rogue strategy with it. Alright, we have Trapinch, Pancham, Torchic, Clefairy, Pikachu, Hitmonlee, another Korrina, great. Training Center, this is a cool stadium actually. Basically any stage 1 or stage 2 Pokemon will get plus 30 actually HP. So that's awesome. Basically it'll make any player trying to use maybe less EXs in their deck, which is actually a great idea. I enjoy, not maybe exactly focusing on big basic Pokemon, to get a little extra HP in there to kind of contend with the big EXs. So great card. Then we have a Drowsy and an Electivire. People have actually possibly theorized a cool deck with these guys. Basically, it's Electivire and Magmortar. As you can see in the image there, you can see a Magmortar in the background. And in the Magmortar card, you can see Electivire in the background. Basically, using Tag Team Spark, you do 20 damage for every energy attached to Magmortar. So the goal would be to maybe use like Blacksmith or DCEs to put energy onto Magmortar, and then just only one energy onto Electivire to hit for a lot of damage. And if Yveltal stays in our format, he'd be a great counter to that. So yeah, basically he's got a decent synergy there with that card, and who knows whether that could go anywhere. Alright, next we have a Noibat, Drowsy, Patrat, Shroomish, Clefairy, Tyrunt, Battle Reporter, Combuskin, Hitmonlee, Hawlucha, interesting card from the set. Basically, its ability doesn't make it affected by resistance or weakness. And then Flying Press is pretty cool. For 1 energy, you do 60 damage if it's to an EX. If not, it won't do anything at all. But seeing how our format is very heavy on EXs, doing 1 for 60 plus all the support can get it up to pretty high numbers, which is awesome to really quickly be able to do so much damage. Alright, next we have a Plusle, Pikachu, Slackoth, Cubchoo, Patrat, Tool Retriever. Interesting card from the set. Not sure how playable it'll be, but it has a cool effect. Basically, choose up to 2 cards from your attached Pokemon, or 2 tool cards attached to your Pokemon, and put them into your hand. So you can basically switch around tools. I could see it possibly being used in Genesect, maybe to switch out a Muscle Band with your G Booster, but not sure how worth it the spot would be. But interesting idea, just in case. We also have Focus Sash, which could work with Tool Retriever. Basically, you put it on a fighting Pokemon. If it takes a big hit, that would 1-hit KO it. It would survive with 10 HP, then you could switch it out with another tool, like a Muscle Band. So kind of interesting, Focus Sash, but not the greatest card either. Then we have Amora, Slackoth, and Drapion. Alright, now we have Gothita, Makuhita, Lickitung, Poliwag, Slackoth, Klefki with a cool ability actually. Basically, any fairy Pokemon's resistance is now minus 40. So basically, any dark Pokemon trying to attack your fairy Pokemon now does 40 less no matter what. That is pretty cool. So not necessarily know how prevalent dark Pokemon are right now. Yveltal will probably be seeing less play with our new format with the loss of Dark Patch and Sableye. But if people do find a way to make it really good, Klefki could be really useful with maybe Xerneas EX or any other Pokemon that is Fairy type. So that'd be very cool. Another Energy Switch, Gothorita, Mountain Ring, and Golurk. Now we have Lickitung, Noibat, Trapinch, Electabuzz, Poliwag, Watchog, Fighting Stadium. This is one of the cards I was definitely looking for. Basically, it's just a stadium card. All your fighting Pokemon, when they attack Pokemon EX, their attacks will do 20 plus damage. That is extremely useful with Lucario, with Machamp. Basically, all their attacks are just doing plus 20, so it's like a muscle band in a stadium itself. So great synergy with lots of cards that revolve around fighting Pokemon. Just very useful and overall very valuable card. Then we have Pancham and a Noivern and Blaziken, so we'll talk about both of these because they're kind of interesting. Basically, Noivern, his ability is if damage is done to this Pokemon by attacks, flip a coin. If heads, prevent the damage. So it's kind of like the old Chinchino, so kind of cool. But then his attack is pretty odd, the cost-wise. The energy is just very, very scattered, not too usable with any decks right now, except maybe Hydreigon. But it does 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, so paired with something like Dusknoir could be pretty cool. I can see that, while not exactly consistent, could work out very well when it does work. And then we have Blaziken. Lots of people have talked about this card. More just fans of Blaziken, I feel. Because there was an older Blaziken in formats past that did something similar. And so we have, it basically does Clutch for 50. And the defending Pokemon can't retreat. And then Burning Shot. Discard 2 energy attached to this Pokemon. But it does 150 damage to any Pokemon. So that could be extremely useful. Unfortunately, you don't apply weakness, so you can't like knock out a Genesect on the bench. But it's still really cool just to be able to do that much damage anywhere on the field. So very cool. Could end up stopping a lot of different Pokemon. But as a stage 2, how playable it is yet to be seen. But still, really cool card. Really like the art. Really cool. Whoops. Alright, so we'll move on to the next pack here. Having a little difficulty opening that one. Alright, we have Machop, Plusle, Clefairy, Eevee, Electabuzz, Fighting Stadium again, awesome, Pancham, another Fighting Energy, Magmar, and Politoed. Politoed is actually very cool. It makes an interesting idea for a mechanic that lots of people have thought of for a deck. Basically, its ability is King Song. Ignore all colorless energy in the attack cost of each of your Poliwag, Poliwhirl, and Poliwrath. So the idea behind it is that you would run the Poliwag or Poliwhirl line and be able to switch off between Poliwrath and Politoed in order to attack for free with any of those three of the chain. So really cool. The chain does have some decent attacks even before you get to the stage 2, which is interesting. And basically you could attack with Poliwrath for free, so you wouldn't have to run energy in the deck, so you could just run lots of cards to make it extremely consistent in getting those out there and keeping the stream of Poliwrath and Politoed up. So, interesting idea. I'm honestly really hoping someone can do something with it because I really like the card, and I'm not sure how, but I hope it works. Alright, next we have Minun, Torchic, Clefairy, Shroomish, Pancham, Sparkling Robe, I like the Japanese, the original translation name for the card, Radiant Gown. I thought that was a lot cooler sounding, but it's been translated to Sparkling Robe. Basically, the Pokemon this card is attached to can't be affected by special conditions, and it basically is like a full heal, so it will remove any conditions once it's attached. So pretty cool. If lasers ever become extremely prevalent, like every deck is playing it, I could see this card possibly seeing light. But at the moment, I'm not sure how playable it is, despite being kind of an interesting card. Then we have Tyrunt, Klefki, Tornadus, and Noivern. Since we already talked about Noivern, we'll skip that, but Tornadus here is actually a pretty interesting card. For 2 colorless energy, it does 20, and your opponent switches his active Pokemon. And Twister Throw, if you have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent, the attack does 60 more damage, which is pretty cool. With Battle Reporter, I could see that working, or Hue, basically being able to even out your hand size with a supporter card. It does a decent amount of damage for a decent energy cost. And plus, the one thing that kind of brings attention to it is it does have a fighting resistance. So with fighting being really prevalent, this card could kind of be a decent counter. Plus, it's colorless, so it could be splashed into a lot of different things. Alright, now we have Minun, Makuhita, Shroomish, Scraggy, Poliwag, Jaw Fossil, Sparkling Robe, Mienshao, Patrat, and Beartic. People have actually talked about this card, so I'll go over it really quick. It's been honestly thought about a lot in Genesect. Basically, what this card would offer is a counter to Landorus and Pyroar in the same card. With its first attack, Igloo Hold for double colorless. This attack does 20 plus 20 for each basically star in the retreat cost for the defending Pokemon. So Pyroar has 2 in his retreat cost, so it would be 2, 4, 6, knocking it out because of its weakness. And then for Landorus, if you had it has 3 retreat costs, so 2, 4, 6, 8. With a Muscle Band, you would be knocking it out, which Genesect plays. So people have contemplated it. I've personally tested it myself, and I'm not sure how great it works due to the fact that he does have a very hefty retreat cost of 4 himself. It's kind of immobile, so it kind of is difficult. Plus, Genesect has lost a lot of switching cards, so that makes it kind of difficult to maneuver with him. But still, great card. I think it will find a place in some deck. Alright, and we are almost done with the first half here, going on the second to last pack. So far we've had 2 Megas, and that's about it. We haven't had any other really big cards that would affect the rarity ratings so far. So we have Poliwag, Cubchoo, Shelmet, Golett, Trapinch, Training Center, Gothorita, Vibrava, Hitmonchan, and Flygon. Flygon, I don't know how good this card will be, probably not at all, but it does have an interesting first attack. Rainbow Shower attaches many energy cards as you like from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like. So kind of interesting. I actually really like it. I just wish it was a little bit more playable, because technically if you ran like a lot of Professor's Letter or Superior Energy Retrieval, you could be attaching quite a bit of energy for one attack and pretty much set up your board. The only problem is it is a stage 2, so that's a lot of work to then start only using your Pokemon for attacks at that point, because you probably wouldn't be attaching much energy before that. Alright, and then last pack for the right side here, we have a Cubchoo, Scorpy, Eevee, Patrat, Shelmet, Vigoroth, Poliwhirl, Watchog, Machop, and another Slaking. Alright, well that'll conclude the first half, so we're just going to pick right up with the second one. Alright. We have a Magmar, Gothita, Makuhita, Machop, Clauncher, Watchog, another special fighting energy, so awesome, so strong energy. Licky Licky, Poliwag, and a Lucario EX. Awesome. This was honestly the one card for the EXs anyway that I was definitely hoping for. I just needed one left to complete the deck I'm building currently. So we'll just go over Lucario EX really quick. He's got 180 HP. He's a fighting type EX. And he's the first in a while to have 3 attacks. So the first one is Missile Jab for 30 damage for 1 fighting energy. And it's not affected by resistance. So that's good. Gets through stuff like Tornadus, which I just mentioned. His next attack for 2 fighting, Corkscrew Smash, does 60 damage, and you draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. So I honestly feel that's probably his most powerful attack, just because it's a consistent draw support each turn, really useful. Honestly, in playtesting, I've a lot of times used Corkscrew Smash for 6 cards, so definitely very powerful. And then last but not least, we have Somersault Kick for 100 for 3 fighting energy. So you won't be using this as often as the other 2, but definitely to finish off some different Pokemon, you'll be using that. Or if you have lots of different cards like Machamp, Strong Energy, the Fighting Stadium, you can honestly be knocking out in one hit lots of different Pokemon with that attack. Alright, so next pack. We have a Magmar, Clauncher, Mienfoo, Bellsprout, Golett, Gothorita, Tyrunt, Battle Reporter, Exceligor, and a Golett. With our next pack, it looks like we have a Trapinch, Pancham, Torchic, Clefairy, Pikachu, another Strong Energy, Klefki, Energy Switch, Mienshao, and a Dragonite EX Full Art. Alright, now, well, I don't believe this card is extremely playable. I believe it is one of my favorite Full Arts from the set, although honestly, Lucario, Dragonite, and Seismitoad all look really cool. So Dragonite EX, basically, its ability Bust In. The minute you play it from your hand to your bench, you can switch any energy attached onto your Pokemon to Dragonite, and then if you choose to do that, you promote the Dragonite as your active Pokemon. So you can get lots of Pokemon that may be damaged out of the active position pretty quick, as well as getting rid of energy on them that you probably wouldn't want because they'll be knocked out soon anyway. And then its attack for 2 grass and an electric energy. It's Jet Sonic. It does 80 damage, and you may discard an energy attached to the Pokemon, and if you do, a plus 40 damage. Since you'll most likely be attaching excess energy when you use his ability, you'll probably have a lot to discard, so that could be very useful. Alright, we'll go on to the next pack, and now that we have pulled 2 Megas and 2 EXs, there probably will be only like one other card that's either an EX or a Full Art supporter. So not too much to look forward to, but you never know. We could definitely get a lot of cool cards that we haven't pulled yet in the set, like Landorus, which is a big one I'm looking for. Alright, and then we have Torchic, Clefairy, Shroomish, Pancham, Pikachu, Gothorita, Jaw Fossil, Super Scoop Up, Electabuzz, and Amora. Okay, we have Cubchoo, Shelmet, Golett, Trapinch, Minun, Weeping Bell, Combuskin, Fighting Stadium, Electivire, Super Scoop Up, and that's it. Alright, we have Minun, Makuhita, Shroomish, Scraggy, Poliwag, Full Heal, Fighting Stadium, Pancham, Victory Bell, and Gothitelle. We'll talk about Victreebel pretty quick because we haven't pulled any so far. So it's basically a grass with 130 HP. It's a stage 2. Its attack is pretty lackluster. Spiral Drain for grass and 2 colorless. Heal 30 from the Pokemon and deal 60. But what makes it kind of cool is its ability. Once during your turn before you attack, you can discard a grass energy from your hand, and then your opponent's active Pokemon is confused and poisoned. This could have a lot of synergy with something like Ninetales. Getting those 2 special conditions out there would definitely help, basically making it hit for 100 more damage. So very cool. Not sure how playable it'll be, but interesting card. I love new mechanics that are kind of unseen before, so really cool. Alright, next pack we have a Mienfoo, Magmar, Shelmet, Bellsprout, Golett, Scrafty, Sail Fossil, Raichu, a Jaw Fossil, and a Machamp. Awesome. Definitely a really cool card from this set. Basically, it's a fighting stage 2 with 150 HP, so definitely really awesome. With that training center, it goes up to 190. Or 180, so that's really cool. It's just as strong as an EX with HP wise. It's honestly got 2 really strong assets to it as well. Its ability, Fighting Fury. Each of your fighting Pokemon's attacks do 20 more damage, so that's amazing by itself. And then its attack, Machamp Crush, is also really good. It does 80 damage, but because of Machamp, it's basically doing a base 100. And then with the 3 energy for the fighting, for its attack cost, it does 80. And then during your opponent's next turn, any damage by attacks to on Machamp or any defending Pokemon is reduced by 40. So even if they were to Catcher or Lysander a Pokemon, if you use Machamp Crush on the previous turn, it's going to do 40 less damage, which is another amazing asset, along with its really large HP. So it's got a lot of things going for it. I love it. Definitely worth keeping. Alright, then with the last few packs coming up for the booster box, I just wanted to recap. Basically, we're looking for Landorus, the basic, and more strong energy. So we got Magmar, Clefairy, Clauncher, Pikachu, Gothita, Dedenne, another interesting card from the set. I'm surprised this is the first one I pulled. Basically, it's 70 HP electric, and with Entrainment, it's basically search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, so it's like a call for family. But then it also has another asset, another colorless energy cost attack, and it does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So again, if Yveltal were to rise, or any Pokemon like Lugia that have a white lightning weakness, it could be a decent counter, especially for a 1 prize Pokemon and 1 energy of any type. It's pretty splashable into any deck and could make a big impact. Now we have Mienshao, Jaw Fossil, Makuhita, and Tyrantrum. Another card people have looked at. I'm not too sold on its playability. 1 being a fossil, and then it's 2 attacks, chew up 60 plus. If your opponent's active Pokemon has any special energy attached to it, it does 90 more, which sounds pretty ridiculous, and it does a lot of damage. It's just a lot of setup where other fighting Pokemon can kind of hit those big numbers pretty quickly without having to go through the trouble of being a fossil and a larger energy cost. And then its other attack does 150, and but the opponent or the Pokemon can't attack during your next turn, which is a pretty big drawback. But interesting card. Definitely, I think people will try to make a deck out of it, but I don't know how successful it'll be. All right. Looks like we have a Torchic, Pancham, Machop, Makuhita, Skorupi, Dedenne, Battle Reporter, Hitmonchan, Weeping Bell, and Pangoro. One thing I was upset to find out is the Pangoro that was leaked online that gains 20 HP for every bench Pokemon you have is in fact probably going to be like a box promo, like the Charizard, the Ascension Charizard was, like the random Pyroar that wasn't as good as the actual Pyroar. Basically, it'll come in its own box apparently, and that's how you'll have to get the card from there. Which was kind of disappointing because I really was excited to see that card, and we'll have to wait a little bit longer to get it. So then we have Bellsprout, Scraggy, Cubchoo, Golett, Pancham, Exceligor, Mountain Ring, Hitmonchan, Clauncher, and Poliwrath. So this again would go with Politoed, using that colorless attack for Steamroll, 60 and 30 to a bench Pokemon. That right there is almost kind of comparable to Darkrai's attack, obviously for 30 less damage for the base, but with a Muscle Band you're only doing 10 less, and that's pretty decent to attack for no energy cost, even though it does take a little bit of a setup. But like I said, without running energy, you've got a lot of cards to get that setup fairly quickly. Alright, looks like we have 5 or 6 packs left here, so hopefully we'll pull into one more ultra rare. That'd be very nice. Alright, then we have Scraggy, Minun, Clauncher, Shroomish, Clefairy, Tyrant, Maintenance, Vibrava, Hitmontop. Here's the Magmortar I was talking about. As you can see, there's the Electivire in the background. So you would basically attach energy to Magmortar to make Electivire's attack a lot stronger. Alright, we have Trapinch, Scorpy, Shelmet, Mianfu, Minun, Clefable, Maintenance, Amora, Gothita, and Thundurus. Kind of interesting card. Definitely would be hoping for Landorus here. Basically, it's electric colorless for its first attack, 30 plus another 30 if there's a tool card attached to the defending Pokemon, which is interesting. And Lightning, Storm, or Slam for 2 electric and a colorless and a 100. But unfortunately you can't use the attack the next turn, so kind of stops 2-hit KOing with that drawback there. Alright, now we have a Pikachu, Slackoth, Cubchoo, Patrat, Eevee, Pancham, Exceligor, Klefki, Leafeon, and a Battle Reporter Full Art. Like I said earlier, the Battle Reporter Full Art is a very cool looking card, very realistic looking, just got the cool microphone and his little Patrat on his shoulder, so definitely a really cool card. Kind of disappointing as I wasn't really hoping to pull it. I already have one and it's not the strongest card, but again, cool. Definitely cool to put in your binder there. So I feel that's probably where it'll stay though. So not bad. Alright, we have a Noibat, Drowsy, Patrat, Shroomish, Clefairy, Raichu, Vigoroth, a Herb Energy. Basically, like Strong Energy, it can only be attached to the Pokemon of its type, so in this case Grass. And then opposed to adding damage to his attacks, basically heals 30 damage from that Pokemon. So it's got a lot of synergy with Mega Heracross, healing damage off to allow his attack to do more damage. Sparkling Robe, and Hypno, which is another interesting card. For 1 Psychic Energy, Hand Control. Basically, your opponent reveals his hand. You may choose a supporter card you find there, and if you do, your opponent plays that supporter. So kind of interesting. I'm not sure whether that would be strong for you or your opponent, but you may make all decisions for that card. So like if it's a Skyla, you can put something that's not so useful in their hand and waste a Skyla pretty much for them. So it could be useful, but it's very situational and kind of hard to make consistent. Alright, now we have a Noibat, Trapinch, Electabuzz, Poliwag, Plusle, Tool Retriever, Clefable, another Herb Energy, Noibat, Drapion. Alright, now we have a Gothita, Makuhita, Lickitung, Poliwag, Slakoth, Focus Sash, Tool Retriever, Sail Fossil, a Golurk, and a Hawlucha. Alright, we're down to 2 packs here, guys. We'll start with the Tyrantrum one, then finish with Mega Lucario, since he is the mascot for the set. Alright, we have an Eevee, Scorpy, Drowsy, Bellsprout, Lickitung, Amora, Energy Switch, Hitmontop, another Energy Switch, and a Tornadus. Alright, and the last pack of the set here, guys. Thank you again for watching. This is Ampharocity. Please like and subscribe if you like the video and want to see more content. It always helps. So thanks again for watching. Hopefully this last pack will have something exciting in it. And here we go. So we have Machop, Plusle, Clefairy, another Eevee, Electabuzz, Combuskin, Scrafty, Hitmontop, a Reverse Karina, and a Beartic. Alright. I'll take that. And so just to go over kind of the big cards we got, we have a Full Art Battle Reporter. Interesting card. Looks really cool. We got the Full Art Dragonite. A very cool looking card. Not necessarily super playable, but definitely cool. We got the Lucario EX. Probably the best card I'd say I pulled from the box. Definitely needed it. Very strong. Awesome pull. And then we have the 2 Megas, Mega Heracross and Mega Lucario from the set. So very cool, we pulled both of them. The Lucario was a secret rare too, so that's great. Added value, looks really cool. Great, so had a really good box here, I think. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you'll come back to see some of my future videos. Thanks again, guys. This has been Ampharocity.